Right.
You do quote sources on the record and also on background anonymously. You quote an unnamed senior White House official saying, quote, "The president's insane." Was that person speaking literally or figuratively?
I think he was venting his frustrations, this particular official. We sat down one afternoon to talk about how things were going with this particular source's area of expertise. I don't want to get too deeply into that, but plopped down in the seat in front of me and said, "The president's insane." And I later went back and talked to this official and said, "Well, why did you say that?" And this official said, "You know, really, I was just frustrated with the president's lack of understanding about the Constitution, the constraints placed on the presidency, you know, guardrails that were put in place by our founding fathers. The president wanted to know how long you can keep an acting secretary on. He wanted to know, what else he could do with his cabinet. And it's this kind of behavior behind the scenes that really frustrates his top officials, I think, a lot more than people understand." And so I think this official was trying to explain all of that.
You mentioned Kellyanne Conway. Her husband, George Conway, continues to say the president is mentally unwell, unfit. Take a look at his latest tweets from today saying the president should resign and seek psychological treatment. I commented that the tweets are astonishing coming from the husband of a top White House official. And Conway wrote back and said, "What's astonishing is the media's and the nation's utter failure to confront the fact that we have a psychologically unwell and unfit president." How do you view this as someone who covers the Trump White House every day, that these questions are even out there at all?
Well, I get asked this question from time to time. I tell folks, Brian, I'm not a psychiatrist, so I can't assess the president's mental state. But I will tell you my sense of it is, covering him for a pretty long period of time now, is that he's more crazy like a fox. And, you know, for example, I talk about in the book, you know, Steve Bannon explains in an interview that I had with him that, you know, what Trump tries to do is really control the narrative by saying sensational things that sound wild and nutty sometimes. And he does this because he knows it dominates the news cycle. And so that makes it a priority for us in the news business to talk about him nonstop. And he loves that and he capitalizes that.
Well, about that, do you have any regrets? Do you have any regrets